Hi, it's Jonathan, OMA. We're in our Brooklyn showroom. I want to talk about this today. What is this thing? Well, hopefully you'll say, obviously, it's a turntable. And yeah, it's a turntable system. This is the OMA Technics SP10 system. And let's go through this. This is the Technics SP10-R motor unit. The plinth that we make, the arm board, and here we have a Schroeder tone arm, but we supply this system with a blank arm board. You put whatever arm you want on it, and the power supply. And this is a direct drive turntable. Technics SP10R is a super important, interesting turntable. The finest, actually it's the finest turntable in the world today, with the exception of the big turntables we make, K3 and K5. And it is manufactured and sold by Technics as either a complete system that they make with their own plinth and a tone arm, which I don't particularly care for, or you can just buy the motor unit power supply by itself. And with their blessing, we created this system because we've actually been making plinths for Technics SP10s for a lot longer than OMA has been in existence. People often ask me, so, what's your story? How did you get into all this? And when I was putting together theater systems out of scavenged movie picture cinema horn systems, I needed to have a source for those systems. And of course, I wanted to have vinyl, to have analog. That was at a time when everything was digital. And so radio stations, they were all digital at that point. This is more than 20 years ago. And I would often call them up and say, hey, do you have any analog gear that you want to get rid of? And if I was lucky, they would say, hey, yeah, we've got some Technics SP10 direct drive broadcast turntables, and you can have those, or give us $100. No one wanted the Technics SP10, which is really crazy because Technics pioneered modern direct drive turntable engineering and technology in the 70s, and they really just killed it with the famous SL1200 DJ decks, which to this day are the gold standard for all DJs. No DJ wants to play on anything but a Technics SL1200. There's actually footage of a DJ some time ago taking a gun and putting a bullet through an SL1200 and then continuing his set after having shot it. The SP10 was the most expensive turntable that they ever made, and it was really sold only to radio stations and studios because it was considered to be too expensive for home use. The deck was typically in a radio station put into a console, like a big desk, and they would cut holes and drop the thing in. That's fine for a radio station. It's not the right recipe for great sound out of the thing. Technics also made their own plinths for the SP10 Mark II, Mark III, which were called the obsidian plinths because they were made out of ground up obsidian, which is a volcanic glass, suspended in a resin, like plastic. And those things, they look pretty cool. They came with really good tone arms, but they weren't good sounding either. So when I started to get the SP10 original turntable motors from radio stations, I thought, well, what we need to do is make a really heavy, solid, rigid, and well-damped plinth. And so for 20 years almost, we made those things out of Pennsylvania slate. But with the foundry that we started to work with on the Ironic speaker and K3, I realized that we could do a cast iron plinth for the SP10, which would take it up to another level. And the reason for that is that underneath this, which you can't see, underneath the deck is a series of cavities that, like a web of cavities, that have an elastomer poured into them that never hardens to further damp the already extremely well damped hypo-eutectic gray iron. This is so heavy I can barely lift one corner. That's about 150 pounds. So the plinth is made by us out of the hypo-eutectic gray iron, finished either in this natural finish or black. And then you can put an old SP10 in, or get, hopefully from us, one of the new Technics SP10-R units. So this is brand new. The mat is OMA, polycrystalline graphite. It's the best mat that we've found. We even use this on our most expensive K3 turntable. So that's an option. Comes with a blank arm board. You can put any tone arm you want that will fit in this area, which is basically about a 9-inch to more than 12-inch effective length tone arm. There's also a dual arm version of this, which is obviously larger and deeper, so you could have 2 tone arms. This particular plinth is actually a little bit larger than the production units by about 1 inch overall. This was a prototype, and I reduced the size for production because it didn't need to be so big, but the mass is still extremely significant. So why did we do this for a company like, it's not us, Technics? Because you can't get a better turntable until you spend a huge amount of money. I wanted to make something that would give people a truly world-class, and I'll put this against anything except the big turntables we make, a world-class turntable at a reasonable cost that was also, beautiful to look at. So this system is available now, and it's very customizable, and you can get it a la carte or as an ensemble.